So earlier today, Squishy Ball, you might have run into in Fleet Battles, made a cool discovery on the balanced power option. It's just a hotkey you could hit. I've never seen anyone use it before, and I've definitely never seen anyone talk about why it might be useful. It feels like a very odd thing, right? Like, why would I? I want power in one system, not I don't want it balanced around, and I especially don't want to be emergency converting power to be balanced. So at least that was my initial thought. So I never really used it, never played around with it. It seems like a lot of other people did the same thing I did, and just never really bothered. But we were definitely wrong. It's a really useful tool. You should probably be using it. I know I feel silly for not having used it in the past. I guess question one is, what does convert power balanced actually do? Sounds like a silly question because the name's a little self-explanatory, but it's worth just showing you here. So right now we've got all our power in engines. You can see we have a full bar of weapon energy, not overcharged, just regular. So let's let our engines drain really quickly. I'm just going to stop and let that happen. We'll burn some weapon energy as well. There we are. So our weapons are pretty low, so I'm going to go ahead and hit convert power weapons, or sorry, convert power balanced. And you can see we balanced out our energy, basically. So we got just a little bit over a full weapon bar, and we lost most of our boost bar. The cool thing is you can do this while you're shooting, right? So I'm just going to hit convert balanced, and just like if you were converting power to weapons, we get our weapon power, but in this case you can see it didn't cost as much boost power. And similarly, we got a little lower here and we fell under zero boost and lost some maneuverability. But the downsides for converting power from engines and the downside from converting power from weapons are actually different. There's different debuffs your ship gets basically. So it's actually pretty easy to demonstrate. So let me just burn all my weapon power really quickly. And let's do a conversion from engines to weapons. I'll get a little bit of speed first as well, right? So you can see we turn this fast while we have power to our engines. So we'll convert to weapons, and you can see we lost a bunch of maneuverability there. As that bar fills up, we get it back. Now we're back to normal turn rates. Now we're charging boost. What's interesting though is the rate at which we charge boost didn't change despite converting power, right? So I can hit convert power to weapons, and again you can see the boost bar start charging more or less instantly, or the maneuverability bar, or whatever the I don't have full maneuverability back bar is down there. There's no penalty to your ship's energy gain rate. That's not true for weapons, so I'm just going to go ahead and stop here because we no longer care about our rate of turning. Um, so let's burn some weapon energy here. And I need to burn some boost energy too. Okay, so we'll keep burning energy. I'm just letting the boost bar drain. Great. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and convert our weapon energy into boost. And you can see the bar just sit here. So I have full power on weapons right now, right? But look how slow the bar is charging. You can see the debuff on the ship health icon on the bottom right there, flashing that red laser, which means, hey, your weapons are charging slowly because you just converted. Still charging slowly. Now we're back to normal. Um, and that happens, you get that debuff even if you don't completely run out of weapon energy. So let me just get a mostly full boost bar here to demonstrate. Like the energy bar is not going to hit the bottom. That's just the cost of having power in weapons effectively. So to engines, right? We only lost a little bit of energy. Despite that, we're going to pay a huge tax for it because our weapons aren't going to be charging for 10 years. It really seems to be about 10 or 15 seconds before you get full charge back, but it's really, 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 really long. Um, yeah, so we want to avoid that. So, why does this make the convert power balanced option useful? Okay, so let's go back to our other example, right? So you're in an interceptor, and we're low on energy. So let's just waste some energy really quickly. Give me just a second here. So I'm using the convert power balanced option here, but this isn't really the point. I just wanted to, okay, so you can see we're low on energy, right? So, we've been in a dogfight for a long time. We've got, 1 bar of weapon energy, 2 bars of boost, and we go, well, shit, I need to kill this guy. Okay, let's convert to weapons and see if we can kill him. Oh, there we go. Yep, right. Now we're stopped. If he has a teammate who's helping him, we're probably already dead at this point. It's like 5 seconds of just not moving, can't maneuver, can't charge boost, can't do anything. But instead of doing that, what if we just hit convert power? So let me burn a little bit of boost here, just to make it roughly equivalent. Cool. So I'm going to hit convert power here, balanced. And you can see the maneuverability we lost was very slight, and it's totally based on how much power you happen to have. So we happen to have just barely not enough engine power there to fill a full weapon charge. Um, But let's say if we're in that situation and we have 4 or 5 bars of weapons, right? We'll even get some overcharge without losing our weapons. And our engines are charging full speed the whole time. Our weapons are charging full speed. Well, full speed for 2 pips and weapons speed, which you can see it's not nothing, but it's definitely not fast. So I'll just do that again, right? So we're going to be totally out of weapon energy here. We're turning. I'm hitting convert balanced. Still going at full speed. Still charging boost. I can boost. We're out now, but that's enough to do a quick retro drift out or whatever, and we have our full weapon energy. So this is really useful for like keeping uptime in fights without risking yourself, because I mean, as I'm sure you found, the best way to die in an interceptor is to be trying to kill someone and not moving quickly, right? You're very hard to kill when you're drifting. You're very hard to kill when you're boosting. The times of vulnerability are when you're stopped trying to get shots or when you're going straight trying to get shots. So doing this, right, we can be again, I'm just going to burn a bunch of energy to get a nice simulated low power environment. So we can be chasing someone, right? We can be boost drifting, we can be mid drift, we can convert. You can see, we didn't risk dying there to get those extra shots off. Versus if we're doing this and then we hit convert to weapons, uh-oh, we're stuck here. We're going to die. We're still going to die. Now we're back to normal. Yeah, so hopefully this is helpful. If you're curious and want to give it a shot, there's a couple of components that might be interesting to you. The first thing to note, though, is this is not going to work with a Plasburst for reasons that are kind of obvious if you think about it, right? Plasbursts charge in 2 seconds. Generally, the faster the weapon charges, the less this is going to be useful because, again, the whole point and the whole reason this works is engine energy is more useful than weapon energy because at any point in time, we can convert engine energy into weapon energy at effectively no cost. If we have 100 engine energy and we want to make that into 100 weapon energy, you can convert it. And there's some small loss that's so small it's hard to measure. But effectively, you can go from engine to weapons at no cost, but going from weapons to engines is expensive because every time you do it, your ship doesn't charge weapons for like 10 to 15 seconds. And that downside doesn't exist on the engine side. So if you keep your power in engines and are spamming engines to weapons, and by that I mean spamming engine energy to weapon energy by mashing the balance power button, then you keep gaining energy at a full rate and you don't risk stopping. Or you don't risk forcing being stopped by not having enough engine energy for your ship to move. But yeah, like I was mentioning, so don't do this with a Plasburst. Similarly, rapid fire cannons can struggle a little bit because they charge so much faster, so your engine energy is relatively not worth as much, if that makes sense, right? Because if your weapon gauge charges in 3 seconds instead of 10, when you convert 10% of your engines into 10% of your weapons, you're basically not getting as much weapon charge time, if that makes sense. There's also an engine that is worth investigating on the bomber and fighter side. I believe it's Ion Jet engine. It is the one that will force your boost to charge faster, not force, but make your boost charge faster, but force it to cost either twice as much or 150% as much, if I remember correctly. So if you're willing to make those trade-offs, you can charge your weapons, or rather, you can fire your weapons out of your engine energy pool even easier. So yeah, hopefully this is helpful. I know it's been a little eye-opening for me, at least when I'm playing an Interceptor. I feel like I'm always running out of energy, and I can't hold up, I can't keep up with A-Wings in terms of time out there. So this is very exciting basically because hopefully it means we can take interceptors and go a little closer toe to toe with A-wings and just other rebel ships without constantly just being out of energy and having to go back and just build energy power back up. So one more thing, Squishy also found convert power balance does even more than we thought. So here, check this out. So
we're
yeah, go
sitting
ahead.
on the full energy bar, full cannons. We have no boost bar, so we'll shunt everything out into engines. We have the debuff, but we can go instantly balance it. It equalizes both, removes the debuff.
Yeah, so you can, even if you need to convert engines or whatever, the second you get away from danger, you can just hit convert balanced and then your weapons will start charging instantly, which is, I definitely didn't know that until you're science experimenting.
Yeah. So the debuff again balances out. So you can do it like with this. Like I'm not firing, and I can pretty much have a full bar of both.
Yeah, I
Tapping.
mean, you can even spam convert back and forth and then
Well,
hit
that's
balance
what I'm doing
again,
right
and it's
now.
fine, right?
Like
Yeah.
you can just literally spam it and stay at perfectly max. If you're in max cannons until you get there. Same thing happens when you shunt everything from your cannons to your engines and you shunt back to weapons. Then it does it. That's how it's debuff. So the balancing is doing that, thus removing your old debuff.